Welcome to episode 3 of Jiggin Johnson's. We're going to talk some bass fishing today. So basic equipment again. We're going to go over our rods, reel combos, lightweight, medium weight rods. Go over some of our favorite lures and jigs and such. Lines, a few accessories we make sure we have and make the job a little bit easier. So let's start with fishing poles. Start with the lightweight.
Ultralight.
Little ultralight rod. Fluger rod and reel combo. Pretty basic combo setup. Our lightweight rods, we actually run a little bit lighter weight line on them. We usually run a 6 or an 8 pound. This one happens to have some Zebco Cajun 8 pound on it right now, smooth cast. Seems to do the job just fine, so we'll continue to stick with it. And next we'll show you our medium weight, one of our medium weight combos.
We have another one in the garage. That is mine.
Ugly Sticks GX2 medium weight rod, 6.5 footer. Fluger reel, Fluger Presidential. This one's actually running a Trilene Extra Tough XT 8 pound. We usually run 8 or 10 on the medium weight rods. Again, good combination, good setup, good rod, good reels. We'll kind of step into some of our favorite lures now. I'll let Zander talk about his favorite.
Alright, so basically what I love using at farm ponds or anywhere I go is Jiggin. They're Senkos. I usually use 5-inch, 6 inches fine too, but I rig them up as a wacky rig with a weedless little
wacky
hook. Yeah, and then I put an O-ring on there instead of putting it through the worm because I feel like it lasts longer. But I enjoy using this because it catches fish and works very well.
You had to prove that to me. I think it was last year, first time I really had a rig like that. About every time you cast this dang thing out, it caught a decent little bass. So he's proved to me that it works. I think I actually used it on one of our trips to the pond.
Last weekend, no, 2 weeks
a couple of weeks ago, and it seemed to work pretty good.
Yep.
Well, now we'll kind of roll into
hard baits.
Keep stuff organized as best we can.
Yep.
It's got most of our crankbaits and stuff in it.
Baits, poppers.
So there's some Senko crankbaits or Jiggin crankbaits in there. There's some Berkeley Frenzies, a few Rapalas, Bombers, several different sizes, several different depths, anywhere from about 1 foot to 6 foot where we kind of stick. We fish a lot of shallower water, farm ponds, and smaller lakes around Iowa. We do have some bombers and stuff that we've used trolling. The Frenzies work really well for some trolling too. Again, just one of our favorites, obviously, the Rapala.
Jerkbaits, they're all tangled, but
they're pretty straightforward lures. You just pick one up every now and then, a little different color, a little different style, a little different depth, a little different length. We try a little bit of everything, probably every time we go, just see what's biting. We'll move on to rubber baits, finish them out. He started with his Jiggins.
This is your alley, so.
A couple of my favorites are just your straight worms. These are culprits. Anywhere from a 5-inch to 8-inch worms, usually what I run. Several different ways to rig them. Either get some style of the hook, like a lead head. I try to run them weedless. This particular one loses a lot of hooks, so I wasn't a fan of it, but it is one style. You kind of screw the head of the worm there and you make it weedless by hooking the hook back into the body. Again, it wasn't one of my favorites. It didn't end up being very weedless, and the worm didn't end up staying on the head very well. I think I've only got a couple of those left to use them on occasion. The other way I like to go is just no weight, just a long shank hook, number 2, number 3, maybe a number 4 depending on how fat the worm is. Just feed it through about to the band.
Yep.
Work it
Yep.
around.
Texas surrogate.
Yep, flip
What
it
it's
over.
called.
I make it weedless, poke that baby almost all the way through. And just throw it out there like that. If I think I need some weight, if we're fishing some deeper water, or fish aren't taking it soon enough for me, I'm a little impatient, I'll throw a little bullet weight on in front of this, not very much, doesn't take much. The worm and the hook itself already weigh a little bit, so you get a good cast. So that kind of explains the worms. I got several different colors, of course, several different sizes, different tails. That little black and silver one seems to work really well. Seems like dark colors seem to work better for me than the
White colors.
whites and chartreuses and greens and light colors. Another one of my favorites. I've got another style I
Want me
like.
to get that hook again?
Just don't have one here. I like the crawdad stuff. These are just little crawdad, 3/4 incher. I hook it up weedless, same exact way. It just has a little more action when you work it backwards. I've got another one that's got some, I don't remember what it's called. It too is called a crawdad in the description, but I like it in the pumpkin color. It has a little more fuzz up here to give it a little more action as it goes through the water. It tends to be my favorite one, and they're heavy enough on their own that you don't really need a weight. You can get a good cast, and they flutter down nice so you can jig them as you work your way back in. You rig them all up weedless.
Yep.
Again, most of our stuff's farm ponds, a lot of undergrowth. Throwing weights on stuff doesn't really work too well unless you're going to reel it right in. Not last by any means. You got a couple different things in here. And we try to keep things as organized as you can.
So we got some frogs, many different types of frogs. We got white frogs, green, any color you ask, they're probably in here.
Sizes again, we kind of range in sizes. Sometimes the big ones just aren't biting.
Yep.
Throw a little one on, you'll get yourself some little bass rolling.
We got some spinner baits, it looks like, in here.
Lots of spinner baits, again, different sizes, different weights.
Yep.
And kind of with bass, it's bigger the lure, the bigger the fish sometimes. And sometimes the big ones aren't biting, so we'll actually downsize and lure to get something to bite.
Yep. We got jerk baits. I mean, not jerk baits. Jeez. A jig in here. We got a couple of different types of jigs. My favorite is this color, blue and black-ish color.
The pumpkin colors always work well. I usually buy pumpkin colors when I go. They work in light water and dark water both. So
That's about it for
pretty
that
much
box.
covers up. It's pretty simple. You can buy some of that stuff relatively inexpensive, and you can stock yourself up pretty good. A lot of times you can find spinner baits and such on sale.
They're
if you buy
like
the smaller ones.
maybe, yeah.
A couple bucks you can get into some of the spinner baits.
Yep.
That's a good starter. Good thing about all those lures is you can catch just about anything on them.
We
Anything will
caught
bite on
crappie on them. We even caught some bluegill actually.
them. Yeah, some big bluegills will bite on that stuff. And really, with the crankbaits and stuff, anything will bite on
Yep,
them.
especially
You
at
catch
farm pond.
catfish and
Yep.
everything on them. Again, we'll go through a
So,
few of the
couple.
little things that we use.
Yep.
Again, you got to get your hook out, especially when you're using your crankbaits and your treble hooks and those kind of things. So we always carry some forceps with us. That's just the best way. It's easier to get in there. Number
Especially
one,
with
with the
bluegill.
treble hook,
With
you're not going to
bluegill.
end up hooking yourself with the other 2 hooks or 5 hooks or whatever the case may be, trying to get the hook out. Makes it pretty simple. And again, lip lockers. Again, I never had a pair till I got Xander a pair, and he makes it look pretty simple
Yeah.
using them.
They
So
just clamp right on. So.
I like them, and again, we still use our little Rapala scale. Again, I just think some of this stuff, you used to take this scale and you hook it through their bottom jaw or something.
Yeah, I don't know if you should be doing that. I don't think it's good or healthy for the fish.
So Xander kind of showed me the technique of hooking the lip locker on and
Doing
leaving the lip locker on the fish and scaling it that way. It works really well. I don't see a problem with it. And it's an easy way to release the fish too. You can put him down in the water
and
and
then
just let
just
him go.
unclamp.
So pretty straightforward and quick.
Another thing that we all have to have is line cutters, because you don't want to be using your teeth all the time on 20-pound, 10-pound line. It's not good on your teeth. It's not good on your teeth, and it's better to have this than a fricked up tooth. So
that pretty much covers some basics for bass fishing.
that's about it.
Again, it's pretty quick and simple. We don't get carried away. You can get carried away real easy and buy a bunch of stuff you don't need.
Yep, and stuff that is not gonna work.
I suppose if we were to fish bigger lakes, which we don't do a whole lot, why some of those bigger baits and more expensive baits and name brand baits and stuff would probably get you by a little bit better.
But in farm ponds, almost anything works because the fish are just that aggressive.
But most of the time we do fish farm ponds. Again, we got a couple of little lakes that we go to.
Sand pit.
We got a sand pit that we got permission to fish, and obviously you can hit a couple different rivers. So again, smaller water, still good sized fish in them. Pretty good array of fish too. So you can catch a little bit of everything that Iowa has to offer.
In a farm pond, especially. I mean, in a river too,
But we'll probably make a couple more videos, at least one more maybe, with panfish.
Yep.
Cover some crappie and some bluegill fishing. Then we might touch base if we can pull enough photos together, some trout. We don't get around the trout very much, but we like to go try to find them.
Yeah.
They have a couple releases here locally, a couple old pits that Xander got his first rainbow trout at. I went hiking the mountains and managed to find a few myself, and I used to actually go down to my grandparents. They lived in the Ozarks, and they lived on a trout lake down there, so I kind of grew up catching rainbow trout.
But we'll talk about that in a separate video. So
yeah, let's see if maybe we can't get some footage too. There should be some rainbow trout out there somewhere for us to run down. So anyways, that pretty much wraps up this short little video. Again, you don't have to get carried away. Keep it simple. Even your little twister tails and Johnson silver minnows and all that kind of stuff, they all work. You don't have to get crazy with it and have an enormous amount of tackle. We just try to have a good amount because we both pretty much fish out of the same bag. So we just keep it as simple as we can and have plenty of baits to keep our minds occupied if they're not biting. Continue to try to hunt them down.
And you have a good variety. You're able just to switch right away and try to find what's working. Something isn't working.
So we'll probably wrap this up here. Again, if you have any suggestions, any comments, give us a share, give us a like, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.